You've probably heard, but yes, Storm Amy is coming. The first storm of the 2025-2026 season. It's going to push in as we go through into Friday, bringing some very unsettled weather across northern parts in particular. The area of low pressure that is Storm Amy is currently out in the Atlantic, and it is still deepening as it heads towards us. Also worth noting, on Friday morning, actually there will be some quieter weather for a time before heavy persistent rain sweeps in association with Amy, and those winds are going to strengthen as well. Like I said, it's across northern parts where we're going to see, yes, the heaviest rain, but also the strongest winds. And then the whole system clears away, but then there's a trailing front following in behind, and that's going to bring some further rain for a time, eventually clearing through as we go into Saturday. But through Saturday itself, we're still heavily under the influence of the low pressure that is Amy, and that's going to bring plenty of blustery showers. We do have several warnings out at the moment as a result of Storm Amy. Here are our wind warnings. Large yellow warnings covering Northern Ireland, Scotland and northern parts of England and western parts of Wales. And then there's a smaller amber warning covering northern and western parts of Scotland. We're looking at gusts in these areas quite widely, reaching 40 to 50 miles per hour in exposed spots. So around the coast, over higher ground, is going to be a bit stronger than this. And in this amber warning area in particular, as we go through Friday night into Saturday, there's the potential for gusts in excess of 95 miles per hour. So dangerous speed gusts, and that's likely to cause some disruption. We also do have a rain warning out, which covers some western parts of Scotland, because rainfall totals as we go through the end of the day on Friday into Saturday could be around 40 to 50, maybe 60 to 70 millimetres over the higher ground in the wettest spots. So we need to watch out for the strong winds, being the potential for power cuts, some disruption to other services like mobile phone services. There could be some flying debris, trees being blown down, and there could also be some flooding to go alongside the potential for large waves. So some very disruptive weather. No wonder that there's likely to be some travel disruption. As we go through Saturday itself then, like I said, the low that is Storm Amy will be to the north of the UK, and that's going to be driving in still some strong winds. The strongest winds will be overnight Friday into Saturday, but nonetheless it is still going to be very windy across northern parts as we go through Saturday. And on those strong winds, we're going to have plenty of showers feeding in. So a showery day for many places. There will be some sunshine in between the showers, but further south, a greater chance of avoiding most of the showers and a greater chance of seeing some sunshine. Worth actually mentioning that whilst Storm Amy is going to bring some heavy rain, some very strong winds to northern areas all the time as we go through Friday overnight into Saturday, further south, yes, there will be some blustery winds. Yes, there will be some rain at times, but nowhere near as impactful. In fact, impacts aren't particularly likely across southern parts. Temperature-wise, well, because there's a cold front coming through in association with Storm Amy, there's slightly fresher air pushing in as well. So temperatures on paper are going to be a few degrees down compared to recent days on Saturday. And when you factor in those strong winds, it's going to feel pretty fresh indeed, quite raw at times with, yes, maximum temperatures generally in the low to mid-teens Celsius, but feeling single digits in quite a few places because of those strong winds. The low that is Amy gradually drifts away towards the northeast as we go overnight Saturday into Sunday, but we stick with the, well, tightly packed isobars. Just look how tightly packed they are. It is still going to be blustery, still quite windy as we go into Sunday, albeit not on the same scale as the strong winds that we're going to see just before it. Nonetheless, through Sunday, we're going to continue to see some showery rain coming in from the west and some blustery weather as well. The winds do change round to a bit more of a westerly, and that leads to then a bit of a west-east split in our weather. Western areas quite cloudy, a bit damp at times with some outbreaks of rain, albeit none of it particularly heavy. But across eastern areas, it's looking that bit drier. Maybe a few spots of rain will push their way across some eastern parts of northern England and maybe eastern parts of Scotland, but actually in the east, clinging onto a good deal of dry weather and maybe even some sunshine breaking through the cloud at times, especially towards the southeast. With the slight change in our wind direction and ever so slightly lighter winds as well, it is going to be feeling warmer on Sunday compared to Saturday. Temperatures will be up a few degrees, and yes, like I say, with those winds easing a little bit, it's still windy, but not as windy. It is going to feel that little bit less raw. Then as we go into the beginning of next week, well, we have more changeable weather to come. The strong winds will continue as we go through Monday and into Tuesday, and there will be some further wet weather at times, particularly across western parts. But as we go through the week, I am expecting high pressure to start to build from the southwest, so that should settle the weather down a little bit, at least across some southern southwestern parts perhaps. But still a lot to come before we get there. Remember, we do have a number of warnings out as a result of Storm Amy, and we will be updating those as we get nearer the time, as we go through Friday and possibly into Saturday as well. So make sure you stay on top of those, especially if you're in the north.